Water and wastewater treatment. This section covers introduction to water pollution, wastewater characteristics, fundamentals of conventional water and wastewater treatment. Under this, you will learn about physical treatment methods, chemical treatment methods, biological treatment methods, and the legal background. Wastewater. Here you can see wastewater is a single word. Yes, but you may think it should be a two words, but actually wastewater, according to the English term, it is only one term, one word. Liquid waste is called as the wastewater. Every community or society produces both liquid, solid waste and air emissions. Wastewater is a combination of liquid or water carried waste removed from residences, institutions, commercial and industrial establishment after using or together with such groundwater, surface water and storm water. There are many components in wastewater. So we can use constituents. There are many constituents in wastewater. Sometimes we may call them as contaminants, impurities, or pollutant. The sludge. The sludge has been used to signify the residue produced in wastewater treatment. Okay, so sludge may consist of biosolids or solids. What is domestic wastewater? Domestic wastewater is the wastewater generated from human excreta, urine, and canteen, kitchen, bathing, etc. other than industrial process water. Okay? So, domestic wastewater consists of black water and the grey water. Okay? Industrial wastewater does not belong to this category. There are several types of sources of wastewater. Domestic sector. So domestic sector wastewater consists of food, soap, detergents, then bathroom waste, that means fecal and urine, and paper. The from commercial sector also wastewater is generated. Bathroom and food from restaurants, food from restaurants and other stores. Then industrial wastewater, they are highly variable. It has a highly variable composition. It depends on industry. Then industrial wastewater has to be controlled by treatment according to the regulations. Then there's other type, runoff streams. The sand, petroleum, and tire residues are consist of runoff wastewater. Actually, why do we treat wastewater? To lessen the pollution potential to an acceptable level in the receiving environment. That means we treat wastewater to reduce the pollution potential to an acceptable level in the receiving environment. What is the acceptable level? So simply we can say acceptable level in the receiving environment means swimmable and drinkable water. No risk of health hazards to human beings and the ecosystem. We treat wastewater, otherwise it will be a risk for the human being and the ecosystem. So in a future lecture, I will explain about what is ecosystem. So simply now you can say the environment and the physical, biological relationships in an environment is called as the ecosystem, in which biological forms thrive with proven technology. So in wastewater, there are inherent substances which create adverse impacts. There are inherent substances. There are several impurities, pollutants, or contaminants in wastewater. So there are solids. So solids in the wastewater can be divided into several categories. The fixed solids, volatile solids, suspended solid, the floating solid. Likewise, there are many categories. Then BOD or COD. BOD means biological oxygen demand, and COD is the chemical oxygen demand. Okay? So this represents some amount of organic matter present in the wastewater. The BOD represent some amount of organic matter in the wastewater which can be degraded biologically. And COD means the amount of organic matter which can be degraded chemically. Okay, so we will discuss this in our future lectures, and in our practical classes also we will discuss these things. Then there are nitrogenous compounds, phosphorus compounds, and fat, oil, and greases, and there are fecal coliforms. The fecal coliforms is a type of microorganisms which can be available in wastewater, which is highly pathogenic to the human beings. What do they result if not controlled? What happens if we do not control or treat wastewater? So if there are total solids, what happens? If there are total solids in the wastewater, they impose, the solids imposes impaired visual quality. That means it reduces the aesthetic quality of the water. Okay. Also, it will cause many problems to the human beings and the ecosystem also. Then what happened? The presence of high BOD and COD. BOD means amount of oxygen required to degrade the organic matter biologically. Okay, that means BOD relates the some amount of organic matter. So BOD and COD yield more dissolved oxygen from water. So if there are a large amount of organic matter dissolved in the wastewater, what happens? Dissolved oxygen level will also decrease. Because of that, aquatic lives, aquatic plants will be died. Then nitrogenous compound. So if there are nitrogen and phosphorus compound consists of nitrogen and phosphorus, what happens? It causes eutrophication. So this is a simple example for eutrophication. This is a normal lake and this is a lake during eutrophication. The algal blooms and the aquatic plants can grow in a lake. So this is the surface of the whole lake is covered by the algal bloom. So this type of lakes are called as eutrophicated lake. So this is called eutrophication. Because of that, the fish and the other creatures in the lake will be died. So if there are nitrogen and phosphorus compound in the wastewater, they has to be removed before they are discharged into the waste environment. Otherwise, it can cause us eutrophication in the ecosystem. Then fat, oil, and greases also causes impaired visual quality. And fecal coliforms leads to waterborne related diseases like cholera, dysentery. And during the decomposition of the organic matter, it contains, will lead to nuisance condition, including the production of stinking gases. In addition, untreated wastewater contains pathogenic microorganisms that dwell in the human intestinal tract. That means other than fecal coliforms, there are pathogenic microorganisms. So they can live in human intestinal and can cause diseases. Wastewater also contain nutrients, that means nitrogen and phosphorus, which can stimulate the growth of aquatic plant. Okay, the example is eutrophication. And wastewater also contain toxic compounds or compounds that potentially may be mutagenic or carcinogenic. Okay. Because of this reason, the immediate nuisance-free removal of wastewater from its source of generation should be required. Okay. So the treatment, the follow reuse, disperse into the environment is necessary to protect public health and environment. This is terminology commonly used in the field of wastewater engineering. In the literature or government regulation or in textbooks, a variety of terms have been used for the individual constituents in wastewater. The terminology used commonly for key concepts and the terms in the field of wastewater engineering and management is summarized in this table. So I'm not going to ask the definition of these terms in your exam, but you should know what are them, and you should have an understand what is the meaning of these terms. Okay, so here you can find biosolids. It's a primary and organic semi-solid wastewater product that remains after solids are stabilized biologically or chemically and are suitable for beneficial use. Okay? Dear students, you do not want to cramp these things. You do not want to remember these things, but you should understand the meaning of these things because we use these terms in our future lectures. And biosolids, the characteristics, composition, constituents, contaminant, disinfection. Disinfection means reduction of disease-causing microorganism by physical or chemical means. Then effluent means the liquid discharge from the processing steps. Effluent. If we talk about effluent, it is a liquid discharge. Then impurities, constituents added to the water supply. Then non-point sources, nutrient, parameter, point sources, pollutant, reclamation. What is reclamation? The reclamation mean treatment of wastewater for subsequent reuse application or the act of reusing treated wastewater. The reclamation means the subsequent reuse application of wastewater. Then recycling, repurification, reuse, sludge, and solids. So it's better to know the meaning of these terms, but not for your exam. What is the objective of regulation in wastewater engineering? Okay, the simple objective is to have fishable and swimmable water. Fishable and swimmable water, and I know according to our mindset, we do not going to drink treated wastewater if they are 100% pure. So let's see what is National Environment Act. It was enacted in 1980, Act number 47 of 1980. National Environment Act is an umbrella law to prevail over the other environmental laws. It was amended in several times. Then National Environment Act consists of 5 parts. It consists of 5 parts. Part number 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. Part 1 consists of the establishment of the Central Environmental Authority and an Environmental Council. Then part 2 consists of the powers, function and duties of the authority. That means the Central Environmental Authority or CEA. Then part number 3 consists of the staff of the authority. Part number 4 is the most important thing, consists of most important information. It is about environmental management. Then part number 4A, there are A, B, C categories. Part number A consists of environmental protection. Part number B consists of environmental quality. And part number C is about the approval of projects. And part 5 is about general information. So National Environment Act Part 4B consists of environmental quality. Here you can find environmental quality standards for effluent, noise and vibration, and air quality. I hope in occupational safety health section you learn about noise standards, and under the air pollution control section you may have seen the air quality standards, ambient air quality standards. Then under the effluents, what are the regulations that you can find? You can find tolerance limit for the discharge of industrial waste into inland surface water. So there is a tolerance limit for the discharge of industrial waste into industrial inland surface water. That is not entitled for the coastal area. Then you can find tolerance limit for the industrial and domestic waste discharge into marine coastal areas. So the regulations or the standards are different for surface water and the marine coastal areas. Again, you can find in the tolerance limit for industrial waste discharge into land for irrigation purposes. Then waste from textile industry being discharged into inland surface water. Tolerance limit waste for rubber factories being discharged into inland surface water. Then tolerance limit for waste discharged from tanning industry. Tolerance limit for discharge of effluent into public sewers with central treatment plant. So in BOI zone. In BOI zone, Biyagama Katunayaka zone, there are central treatment, wastewater treatment plant. So there is a tolerance limit for the discharge of effluents into a public sewer with central treatment plant. Then in air quality standards, you can find ambient air quality standard, motor traffic regulation, etc. So this is the tolerance limit for discharge of industrial waste into inland surface water. Okay. So here you can see the parameter, the unit type of limit, and the tolerance limit. We will see the Zoom version now. So the first one, total suspended solids, tolerance limit value is 50 milligram per liter. It is the maximum value. The maximum value of the total suspended solids in a wastewater is 50 milligram per liter, okay? Which is going to discharge into the inland surface water. Okay, so these are the tolerance limit for industrial waste into inland surface water. That means if the total suspended solid content is higher than 50, that has to be reduced until it meets 50 milligram per liter. Otherwise, it cannot be discharged. Then the particle size of the total suspended solid is 850 micrometers. It should be less than 850 micrometers. Then BOD or the biochemical oxygen demand, it is 30 milligram per liter. Okay. So here you can see it is specified as BOD5 in 5 days at 20 Celsius or BOD3 in 27 Celsius. Okay. So in our future lectures or in our practical class, you will learn about about these things. Then you can find temperature discharge. The temperature of the wastewater should not exceed 40 Celsius in any section of the stream within 15 meter downstream from the effluent outlet. Effluent outlet. That means when you go near to the process, the wastewater discharge from the process unit may have 45 Celsius. 45 Celsius, but the temperature should not exceed 40 Celsius within 50 meter downstream from the uh, effluent outlet. Then oil and gases, the maximum value is 10 milligram per liter. The phenolic compounds, it is 1 maximum value. COD, it is 250. Okay, I will explain what the meaning of COD in our next lectures. Then color, the range, wavelength, that this is the unit. So this is 7 per meter. Okay? So in our practical classes, you will use the spectrophotometer, then you will get an understanding of the units used. Then next you can find the dissolved phosphate. So this is the maximum value, 5 milligram per liter. Geldal nitrogen, 150 maximum milligram per liter. So total geldal is the equipment you use to measure the nitrogen content. Then ammonical nitrogen, it is 50. Cyanide, 0.2. Then likewise, you can see many parameters. Then so there are 31 parameters. Okay, zinc, pesticides, detergents, and fecal coliform. The fecal coliform is the most important thing that has to be checked in the drinking water. But here we are talking about inland surface water. Wastewater is discharged to the inland surface water. So here fecal coliform can be available until 40 mpm. And here you can find the condition that we have to consider. All effort should be made to remove unpleasant odor as far as possible. These values are based on dilution of effluent by at least 8 volume of clean receiving water. There should be 1 to 8 dilution factor. So if we going to put our wastewater into a surface water, that means if our wastewater flow rate is X liters per second, X liters per second, or it is Y liters per hour, then then we are going to put our wastewater into a river. So the river flow rate should be exceed the 8 times of the X or the Y. Then note 3 mention about the above mentioned general standards shall cease to apply with regard to a particular industry when industry specific standards are notified in that industry. So in our future slides, you can find some specific standards for the some specific industry. So and pesticides as per World Health Organization and Food and Agricultural Organization requirement. Then this is list number 2. Here you can find tolerance limit for industrial waste discharge on land for irrigation purposes. So in the previous slide, you saw tolerance limit for the industrial waste discharge for this inland surface water. Here, land for irrigation purposes. Then list number 3 shows you the industrial and domestic waste discharge into marine coastal area. So here also you can find total suspended solids, then oil and grease, temperature, biochemical oxygen demand, and particle sizes. Then list number 4. Here you can find tolerance limit for waste from rubber factories. So this is a specific industry type. Rubber factories discharge into inland surface water. So here you can see type 1 is for latex concentrate. So for the latex processing factory, we have to use this type 1 regulation. Note 2, standard Lanka rubber, crepe rubber and ripped smoke sheets. So type 2 is for another type. Then here you can see the pH value. Then total suspended solid, total solid, BOD, then COD, total nitrogen, ammonical nitrogen, and sulfide. So these are the parameters that we have to evaluate for the latex, the rubber processing factories. Then list number 5. List number 5 is from waste textile industry being discharged into inland surface water. So here we can see pH, temperature, total suspended solids, biochemical oxygen demand, color, oil and grease, phenolic compound, COD, then chromium, hexavalent chromium, copper, zinc, ammonical nitrogen and chlorine are the parameters that has to be controlled. So here also you can see 1 to 8 dilution is required. Then list number 6 consists of the tolerance limit for waste from being discharged from tanning industries. So here you can see tolerance limit values for effluent discharge into inland surface water and marine coastal area. So the parameter values, the tolerance limits of the parameters are different for the both inland surface water and marine coastal water. Okay. Then list number 7 consists of tolerance limit for discharge of effluents into public sewers with central treatment plant. Okay. So here you can see there are several parameters: total suspended solid, pH, biochemical oxygen demand, chemical oxygen demand. So those are the major parameters that you have to remember. Okay, so no need to cramp all these values for your exam, but it's better if you can remember total suspended solids, pH, temperature, BOD, COD, and oil and grease for the industrial waste to the inland surface water, not for this type. Okay, so there are many parameters here. Okay, and these are the nodes or condition that we have to remember. Okay, then before I shift to the next lecture, I will show you the most important parameter. I will remind you the most important parameters that you have to remember for for your daily life. Okay. For exam, I am not going to ask anything about these parameters, but you should know. Total suspended solids. So this is the most important parameters that you have to remember. So tolerance limit for the discharge of industrial waste into inland surface water. Total suspended solids. Then biochemical oxygen demand, it is 30 milligram per liter. Oil and grease, it is 10. Then chemical oxygen demand, it is 250, and temperature shall not exceed 40 Celsius. So those are the most important thing that you have to remember for your daily life, and it is better to know about the parameters that is checked for tolerance limit of rubber factories being discharged into inland surface water. So it is better to know the parameters that is checked in the rubber factories There are 8 parameters. Okay, pH, total suspended solid, total solid, BOD, COD, total nitrogen, ammonical nitrogen, and sulfide. So when you learn about rubber technology, you will understand why here we why we have to consider about these parameters, nitrogen and the sulfide, because they are added to the process in rubber factories. Okay, so in our next lecture, you will learn about water chemistry. So until I upload the lecture, you can read our handout and go through it. There are some uh, exercises here. These are very easy. You can do it from your A-level knowledge.